As per the topics, we have covered mm, most most of the topics as per this training. Today I will show you one thing. I will create a blank page, and there are different types of items in Apex. We have seen some like text field and all, but there are more. So I'll show how to create those items one by one. Like different possibilities. So I'm creating a blank page. It will help you in designing the form also from scratch. So this page you see right now, there is nothing. It's a totally blank page. Now let's consider a scenario where we have to design a page from scratch with multiple fields and buttons. So in this page we will have a text field, a select list, radio button, checkbox, all the different possibilities. So how to do that? So in the page, first thing is to create a region, because without region you cannot add the fields. So region is like a container which holds all the different items. Now this region is created, and to add the I click create. So when we create an item, by default it's added as text field. So if it's a name, I'll change the item name as name. So text field will be like this, name, then say one more item, address. So address, let's say we need a bigger field for address. Now the problem is, as this is also added as a text field. Now as per the requirement, we need to change this. So for address, you can change to text area. So this is one more type of item. All the different possibilities are here. The list that you see, this is the type of items, different types. So when I change it to text area, you see the height of the field changes, and you can adjust this height also here. Width is 30, height is 5. So you can change this 5 to any other value, and the field will be appear accordingly. Now let's say we'll add contact number. contact number. Again, let's say this must be a number field. Just consider. So we can change the text field to number field here. The type will be number field. Then gender. So gender, we will make it a radio button because this must be a selection from the two values. So I'll change it to radio group. With radio group, what happens when you change an item to radio group? You must provide the options because radio group must have the options to choose. That is called list of values. So we'll add the static value display mail return m. So it's coming like this. Now some more customization. See, we have two options and one blank is coming, right?
Yep.
Now from where this blank came? So what happens when you create this radio button or any such items with a LOV? Any item when you create with an LOV, this two fields display extra values and display null values. This remains enabled by default, and this is the reason the third option is coming. So it's required in case of a drop down, but in case of an radio button, we don't need this because you don't. It's the null value. This one display null value. So that is why it's showing one extra as null. So in case of this radio button, we don't need this. So now it's gone. And it's coming like in one column. Let's say like in this structure, one above other. We can move it to one row. So how you can do that? In radio group, there is one property named number of columns. So right now the value is 1. That is why both the values are coming in one column. If I change it to 2, it will be like this. So then one more type we can add, say city. City So it's a text field. I can change it to a select list. So in case of select list also, uh, need to provide the uh, list of values. So for city, I don't have like for the time being, I'll choose this department name. So city will be like this. So this is select list. Next, country. Again, text field. We'll change it to this one. Pop-up LOV. Once again, we need a list of values because these are the items radio group, select list, pop up LOB. This has the options to choose. So that is why list of value becomes mandatory because if you don't give the list of value, then how the drop down or radio group will show the options. So that is why it throws this error until you this will not allow you to save the page if you don't give the source. So I am selecting the shared component list of values in name. So country like this. Then we can add one checkbox. But email required something. So we'll change this to a checkbox. Checkbox. Then there is. So far, do you have any question from the related items?
No, so far I'm okay.
Yeah. So now, as you can see, this form is having uh, these types like text field, text area, number, radio group, select list, pop-up, LOV, checkbox, and this is kind of a data entry form. Now, as the fields are all in one line, you have only one field. It's coming one after another. And suppose you are designing a big form, it will become very big if we keep the layout like this. So layout also you can modify. So there are ways where you can design it. So first thing, let's say we will hide this header. So you need to go to region and template options, header, hidden. So this will not show the header. Now that header is gone. If you don't need, you can hide. Next, we want like say contact number, gender I want in the same line as contact number. So for each item there is a property named start new row. Start new row, if it's yes, then it comes in a new line. So right now if I see all the items have this start new row equal to yes. See, and this is the reason it's coming one after another in a new line. And by default when we add an item, this start new row equal to yes only. It will be yes if you add a new item. Now as per the your design, if you want something side by side, you can change this start new row equal to no. So now in the page layout itself you will see the gender comes here. Same I'll do for city and country. So it will be like this. We can have in one line more than two items also. So this is one thing. Next, suppose this last checkbox I want to move here next to gender. So you can reorder also, like something you want before, something later. So you may have a question how name is coming first, then address, then contact number, then this. What is how this order is maintained? So this order maintains based on this sequence. Every item has a sequence number here. You see sequence equal to 10. Next is 20, 30, 40. So by default, it gets added within like 10, 20, 30, 40 like this. It's interval of 10. So this will become the your order of the items on the form. So the number which is lower that will appear first and it goes on like. So now let's say I want to move email before these two, before country, before city. So either you can manually change this number or you can drag it and drop it here. So now you see the city came before uh, email came before city. Similarly, I want to move it to before address. So like this, I drag it here. Now it came here. Now I want to change it to so it is like this. Now let's say you want to add a new item which should appear in between this somewhere. Let's say I want to add an email address, email field. So first you add an item, name it as email. Let it be text field. So when you add, so by default it gets added at the end and adds new field. Now as per the requirement, because let just consider this came as an enhancement later on and user asks to add it right here on the top. So what you can do, you can create the field and manually change the number or you can move it here and change the start new row equal to no. So it came like this. If I want to move it before this, it will be like this. This width also you can decide. So what happens? And any question so far?
No, no, it's good.
Yeah. So now you see in this line, in the first row, we have three fields. Second row, one. Third row, two. Fourth row, two. And when you see this three field and two field, you you can see it's equally distributed the space, means the width.
Hmm.
The moment I am adding one field in a line, the width of one field is as per the screen size. When I am adding two field, it's changing into 50-50. So half for one field, half. It's if it's three, it's changing like equally for all the three. But this may not work in the real scenario, right? One field you may need bigger, other field may be some small width. So how we can do that? So that also we can decide. There is one in the layout section itself where we change the start new to yes, no. You can see the column and column span. So for every item, this property you will find column span here. So what is this? So this column means the starting point where it will start, and column span is the width. So automatic is the default value, and it allocates a span and column automatically based on the number of fields. So in an epic space there are 12 columns which we don't see, but in the backend you just think about a table with 12 columns here, and in that 12 column the items are divided and allocated the width, column width. So suppose right now we have three items here, so 4 columns are assigned to each of this field. Here we have two, so 6 columns are assigned. So this automatic does work like this. It allocates number of columns according to the number of items and work. Now, if I need some customization, let's say name, I want more width. It should be a bigger because email required is just a checkbox we can have just right at the end. So what we can do in the name, can go here and column span, you can change like 8 and save the page. So see, now it's coming like this. So name is bigger as I have given 8, and what happens? Rest 2 is still automatic, right? So after 8 only 4 is left. So 2 is assigned to email, 2 is to this one checkbox.
Okay.
Now if I reduce it to 7, so you see width is little bit reduced and these both are equally distributed. Now email also, what happens, as I told you it's up to 12. Now 7 is given to this one name. If I choose here 6, now let's see what will happen. This page will throw an error. See. So now why we are getting this error? Because The name field is defined as column span 7 and email is defined as column span 6. So the total becomes 13, right? But the layout is having up to 12 only. So we should always do that calculation when adding this span manually. The sum of this column span in one row should not exceed 12. So if I select 5 also, then also it will fail. Why? Because here 7 and this one 5. First let's see the result. See, it's still failing.
Hmm.
Why it's failing? Because there is one third field in the same row and there is no space for that because all the space are taken by these two. Now let's say if I move the email address to a new line, so I'll choose the start new row equal to yes. So this checkbox will come to a new line. It will work now. See, this time it worked because the 7 plus 5 equal to 12 and there is no more space required in this line. That is why it worked. But the moment I am moving email required to first line, it's not working. Like this. Now let's change the email ID to 4. This time it worked
Hmm.
because 7 plus 4 equal to 11 and 1. Remaining 1 will be assigned to this one. No need to add anything here because it's just one space left and that will be assigned to this one. So this column span, whenever we customize, we need to keep that in mind, the 12 width, and accordingly need to set the value to all the items on the page. And this is how you can decide the width and all. Similarly, in the contact number, I can change it to 8. It will be like this. Any questions so far?
Uh, no, I'm good.
Okay. There are some more, like, let's say, just choose a date. So date is also added as text field. Now I'll change it to a date picker. So date picker will give you the date pop up like this calendar. So whenever you have a date field to add on any form, go with this option and just need to select date. It will be saved as a date in the database. There are some customizations little bit that you can do, uh, like how many months to show and all. One item is which is hidden item. Why we need item type is called hidden. So hidden means you will have the item on the page, like say like this, but it will not show on the page. So this also you may need some time to store something. Let's say in case of some ID or primary key, which user should not see, but internally you should have that value on the page. So that item will be an item type of hidden. Anything, any item which you want to keep, you want that value for your calculations, but you don't want to show that to end user. So then you create that item as hidden item. Then one is file upload. Suppose you want to upload anything. So to upload a file, what we need? Browse item types. Like that should allow user to select a file from the system. So for that, this one, file upload. When I choose this, and it will show this file browse. So this will allow to upload the file like this. User can choose the file and upload it. Obviously, some processing and coding is required to save this file, but the option to upload the file is with this item type file upload. And there are two, three look and feel for this one. One by default, it's created as inline file browse. If I choose inline drop zone, it will come like this, where user can drag and drop the files also instead of choosing it. If I drag it and drop it, it will be added here. One is block drop zone. So drop zone is the better option because users can. This has a different look and feel, but the functionality will remain same. You can either upload, choose the file, or you can drop it here. And this remove will delete the file. The maximum file size can be altered. You can define the types of files which can be accepted, and then after file type there is one rich text editor we have seen. There is switch. One switch is, let it be switch only, and switch is like this, yes no. It has value also, yes no only. And let's say I'll move it to the state. I choose this one. So this also you may need in some places, and the default values of this one, yes and no. So you can choose. You can change the default settings to a customized one also. Like you see under settings, use default. So use default means yes, Y and N. In the database, it will say Y and N. If you choose this one, disable use default, then you can provide your values. Suppose on value yes, off value no. I'll add like this. So any questions so far?
No, it's simple.
Yeah. Okay. So today I will stop here only, and you can go through this and practice this all the different types. There are few more, and you may see like how to use that. It's all depends on the use case where we need what, and
Okay.
then Uh, you try to create the items, and if any question, anything, we'll discuss that tomorrow.